So this is the idea of the Viksit Bharat Buildathon 2025 from the group Scientia Dux, and our idea is marbling air. So basically let me explain what we intend to do. We intend to sequester CO2 from automobile industries and many other industries, but for the raw idea that we have right now, we will take an automobile industry as an example of one such factory that emits CO2 in large quantities. We shall use this CO2 to create marble slabs as shown here. So let me explain how we're going to do this. We are basically going to sequester CO2 from the factories using their pipelines that emit CO2 into the air and redirect those pipelines to go into this large cauldron of the marbling air chamber. This marbling air chamber will take 0.5% space of the factory, which is very efficient. This large cauldron contains a slake lime solution which consists of calcium oxide and water solution. Basically, the water is being recycled every time so that we don't need to use a new batch of water every time we are doing this process. So this recycled water is reacted with calcium oxide that is passed on it through a conveyor belt. When these two react, we get a calcium hydroxide solution. This calcium hydroxide solution is filled in this large cauldron, and then through the side we have one of the pipelines containing CO2 passed through it, and when we pass CO2 through the calcium hydroxide solution, we get marble, which is CaCO3. This is in a powdered form which is mixed with water. So what we have to do is basically just decant the water at a temperature of 800 to 900 degrees Celsius, and then we obtain the powdered marble that is left as a residue, which is then mixed with epoxy resin and hardener to form the marble slabs that you see here. The reason why this process is very efficient is not only that we are using the CO2, which is a very major pollutant in the atmosphere, to make the marble slabs, but also we are reducing the cost of the CO by 3 times. So that will be 3.94 times cheaper than the marble slabs you find in the open market today. Also, another reason is because the marble mining industry uses a lot of machines to mine this marble directly as a raw source from the mountains and etc. And this mined marble rock is mined using machines which also emit a lot of CO2. Hence, we are using this CO2 sequestered from the air to make this marble slab, which will not require any machines or any such item that releases CO2 or is harmful to the environment. Hence, this is environmental friendly and cost efficient. This is our introduction of the idea. Thank you so much. So now I'm going to explain our original idea on how we created this marble slab, and I'm going to compare the marble slab that we created with the tiles that we get in the open market. To summarize, we basically took calcium oxide and mixed it with water. Then we obtained a solution of calcium hydroxide which is called slake lime. This slake lime is then passed through CO2, which is sequestered from the air using a fish pump. This forms CaCO3 or powdered marble along with water, which we finally decant at a temperature of 800 to 900 degrees Celsius and obtain powdered marble mixed with epoxy resin and hardener to form the hard marble slabs that we have here. Now, why is this marble slab efficient? Because not only is it environmental friendly because we're sequestering CO2 from the air to make it, but also cost friendly as it is 2.94 times cheaper than the one obtained in the open market. Difference between the marble that we make and the tiles that are present. First of all, this marble, it has a cooler temperature, whereas this one ranges from hot and cold depending on the weather. Hence, this is very unsuitable for homes, whereas this is very suitable for maintaining temperature of homes, especially in cooler and warmer climates. The second reason is because this one is non-toxic and does not release any chemicals as it is organically made using environmental friendly manners, whereas this releases a lot of chemicals as these tiles are made from chemicals and hence they release them when they are fixed in our homes. So thank you, and
Thank you for staying with us through our explanation of our marbling air and our marbling air chamber and all of our implementation in the industry. We see The quadrant part, the marbling a chamber part, it still needs improvement. But the thing is, we can implement this in our automobile industries at least, and that will decrease the carbon emission by by a huge margin, improving livelihood and still giving people these vanity items. Done. Our idea is in the raw state. It has full many errors. We must have overlooked something.